Welcome back, Charlie's Body Repairs and Restoration. Come see another week inside the workshop, see what we're getting up to. Got lots of interesting stuff on, so we'll start with John's Escort. So we've been repairing his better second bonnet. You can see the previous one, all the paint's blistering off. So we've refurbished the bonnet now, or nearly finished it. So we've got to then prep the wings for a blend. So this wing's actually really good, but it needs prepping for a blend. This wing not so good. Customer, I think he said he had the wings replaced about 10 years ago at the same time, but this one's all starting to come through. It's had a body kit blended into the wing, so he just wants us to see if we can tidy up and save the wing for now. Eventually one day it's going to have a full restoration. So yeah, that's on our to-do list this week. We've got a very cool 16 valve Corrado in with us. We've painted the quarter and the door, but we've now got to give it a final polish. We're going to give it a 2-stage polish. There's a few bits he wants touched in, a few scratches flattened down. It's black, so it's quite tricky, but it does shine quite well, but we're going to bring it up that stage further. We've then got the Fiesta, which I was waiting for a repair panel for, which I've got now for the inner arch. I can then do the inner arch, which then will lead into replacing the seal. But I want to do the inner arch first because the base of the inner seal is rotten. Gives us a little chance to walk around this lovely little car. So this gentleman's had this car, I think he said it's been in the family for about 20 years. And now he's done the mechanical work, and his aim is to get it for an MOT without a single advisory. So it's over to us to do the bodywork justice. You can see on this side the seal that it's completely rotten. I can actually put my hand inside that one. But inner and outer arch on this side is really, really good. So that's a nice refreshing change. It's a really nice colour. I can't remember what this is. I don't know if it's like an ash black, but yeah, so that's on the to-do list later on in the week to get on with the inner arch. We've got a Vectra here for welding, mechanical work, and the engine ECU loom has all the wires are corroded away. So I've been dealing with someone to repair the engine loom. We then got the Porsche 944 to come back in. We just uncovered it this morning. It's had a lot of the body prep done, but it's lots and lots of metal work to go. So the bases of the wings, seals, rear quarters. So we're really looking forward to getting this back in. Very iconic car, and yeah, looking forward to doing that justice. Can't beat a car with pop-up headlights. Take you into the workshop and show you where we're at with everything. I've been busy on the Land Cruiser, so I've got a section in here on Friday. I've got to finish welding that, and then the inner section is non-existent, so I'm just about to take the wheel off. I'm going to have to fabricate a closing panel as well as that section there. We're going to descale the rear beam, clean it up, and we'll be stone guarding that. Harry's just on the boot aperture on the Subaru. You can see where he's just been cleaning the welds up. Needed a section. See from here to here was a little bit pitting. I had little nicks out of it. Put a section under there because the rust had sandwiched in to that layer. And where it's been spot welded from factory, we've cleaned up in there. We'll close that back up, and that'll have a bead of seam sealer because that's why they rust. Because the water just sits between the two skins. If you turn our attention to the Mark II Escort, we're going to paint the underside of the bonnet, the front splitter, bonnet hinges, and there's a bracket for the engine bay. Then that can be reassembled. Right, we'll show you next what's going on next door. So there's also a repair panel that's turned up for the Subaru, so we'll unbox that later, show you what's going on with that. Come into the nice, quiet, cleaner bay where the Triumph is. So this is very, very close to being painted. So it's been guide coated and flatted with 320, and then we use a powder coat to finish it in 500. That eliminates any scratches. We've put a few little bits of stopper in a few little areas. but we're really pleased with how the bodywork's coming along. Laura's been doing the door shuts, so they wanted to tidy up in here along this step area, so it's been rush treated. Let's had a little skim in there. Customer just wanted us to colour these up, but we won't leave bits and pieces like that. So that's why they're being addressed. Lee's keyed them up ready for paint. Lee's also doing the spare wheel well. Again, the customer just wanted this colouring up, but like everything, things grow and it's very, very rusty under that bit of paint. So that's going to have some rust treater and then some stone guard just to finish it off and make it nice and hard wearing in there. Yeah, just going over the finer details, and then we'll plan to get it in paint. Should we have a look at the other door shut? This side was a bit worse, so it has had some fiberglass base filler just to fill up any little pitting in the metal. We'll then prime inside the door shuts. Yeah, gives you an idea of what we've got on. Lots and lots to get through, and we'll bring you on our journey through the week. Right, on the Land Cruiser, I've managed to cut out the worst of the corrosion from the inside. I've cleaned up the wheel tub area. Unfortunately, it's quite surface rusty all the way along, and I have cut to good metal. So from around here and then down there. So a way of making a template is to use a piece of paper when it's a complex shape. So I put that in there first, and then I marked it by running my finger on the edge. You can just see that there, which is where I've got this inner line from. And what I've done is I've gone round and made it a little bit wider to give me a little bit of tolerance. I'll then go and just transfer that to a piece of steel. Here's a bit that I've just started to cut. It's just a rough cut, but I've allowed myself a little bit all the way around. When you get a complex shape like that, you want a little bit of tolerance, because once that's folded and gone into shape, sometimes you want to move it around a little bit. You just want a little bit of tolerance. So that's just one way we make repair panel. Obviously quite a complex shape, so that's it, kind of how it would be on the car, and lay it flat to cut out a piece. So I'll start with that, and then we'll start shaping it from here on after. Right, Subaru update time, in case you didn't guess. Got a genuine Subaru box here. I think this panel's like hen's teeth. Let's have a look and see what we've got. Nice surprise from the customer at the weekend. He's managed to source a genuine wheel tub for the Subaru. Still trying to get one for the driver's side, mine, but at least we have one for here. Means we can crack on with this side, get it stripped back, and get it ready to weld in. But for the moment, I just want to look at it and enjoy the fact that he's got us this lovely panel. Happy days. Morning, little update on the Porsche. We just got it back into the workshop. Customer supplied us a repair panel for the base of the wing. So Harry's going to be grafting that in there this morning. You can see it's had a repair before, and the profile's really wrong on that end. These repair panels look like they've been hand grafted, so I'm assuming they've come from a pattern. So Harry's going to cut the base of the wing off. We'll then tack this in place, and then we can remove the wing and do the rest of the work on a trestle. The wing's already had its initial prep, and it's been put in epoxy primer. So there's a few bits that need attention, and once the wings are repaired, the whole wing will obviously put in high build primer. This wing has served as a little home for a birdie and its offspring, so we'll have to carefully remove the nest while we're at it. Perfect little home there, nice and cozy. So we'll be careful to remove that while we're at it. Right, Harry's cut the base of the wing off, which you can see is a bit of a horrible mess. Most of that is actually original. You can see the old bit that was welded in wrong, and that was the sealer that was compacted in from factory. That's crazy, really. Look, that was attached to there once upon a time. There's had a patch been, well, I don't really know what's holding that on. Bit of luck at the moment, but it's just had a little plate tacked in there. But there's nothing really for us to clamp the base of this repair panel to. But in the meantime, we've been lining this up. So this bit was wrong, which wasn't allowing us to line it up. But when you line up these two swage lines correctly with the edge of the wing, there's an overhang on the back by probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 mil. But these are probably designed as an over repair panel. So we're going to line these swage lines up, and then we're going to refold this edge back in place. But yeah, without having a base to actually clamp it to, it's proven a little bit more tricky. So we'll get the wing off and we'll repair the base of the A post. But yeah, we're going to start by lining this up, changing that fold. And on this occasion, I think we're going to tack it over the top, and then we're going to cut through it to get a butt joint. Right, we're just lining up the repair panel on the Porsche, which is proving quite difficult. So it lines up with the non-existent inner seal there. So it lines up to this radius, but then the end is just completely wrong. But the overhang is too much, and also look at the angle it's been folded at, so it needs to be dead straight. So me and Harry have marked that. He's going to refold that end. I think we'll have to probably cut the excess off. We're then going to tack it in place, and then we're going to come up with a plan for the end. Because if you look at the end, that should be the profile should be straight-ish from there. But look at the angle that it's sitting at. You can see how far out it is there. So yeah, we're going to get the end right, tack that on there, and then we're going to come up with a plan for the end. Right, Harry's going to be shortly removing the wing. It's just worth a mention on these that Porsche sealed these up with tons of spray sealer, so you have to cut that away to stand a chance of getting the wing off. The access is obviously not very good to the rear here. We've got the brake reservoir control unit or pump, and yeah, you can't get to the back there, so we're going to carefully take it away from the top, see if we can pull it away. Yeah, just another little challenge on these cars. Right, I've got my repair panel ready for the Land Cruiser. Previously I laid a piece of paper in there, which then gave me my rough template to then cut out of a piece of steel. I've then put a radius in this over a tube, a simple fold there, and then I actually cut this, pinched it together to the profile, and then re-welded it. I made that sound really simple, but in fact it was quite tricky to get this to fit right. So I don't know if you can have a look now, but that lies in there. Once that's clamped in, I'm going to go around that piece there, obviously plug welded to this edge, along that top edge, and then I've got to make the front for it. I'll just see if I can line that up a little bit better. There we go. It's going to go in there like that. And there we go. You can see where I'm going to weld it along the top. And this is going to create my new leading edge. This outer piece has obviously been cut off, and then I've got this section to make. So yeah, just wanted to show you that repair panel before it's all welded in. Right, we've got this Mark III Escort Cabriolet in for, well, we're refurbishing the bonnet. So that means we're blending the colour into the two wings. And on this one, unfortunately, there's quite a few areas of rust. So on this occasion, we are treating it and filling it. We know it's not going to last forever. But if you have a look on this side, this car's got a blended in Series 1 RS Turbo body kit. So our customer and good friend of ours, John, is going to replace the wings, well, have the wings off at a later date when it has a full restoration a few years' time. So we've cleaned it back and rush treated it best, give it the best possible chance of lasting. So yeah, we're just about to put some fiberglass base filler into there because that's waterproof. So it should stop the chances of absorbing the moisture So yeah, just wanted to show you where we're at with this one. Right, we've got the base of the wing repair panel tacked in place. As we explained, this radius was wrong, so we've put that in straight, and then we've had to put the fold around the corner as close as we can, get it to original for now. This part of the repair panel is completely wrong, so we've just lined up the bit that is right for now, which will then allow us to take the wing off, which Harry's in the middle of doing at the moment. Once the wing's off, we can work on this area. It's pretty non-existent down here, so we had to just carefully clamp it and hold it in position and get a few tacks on it. In terms of the wing, Porsche sprayed everything in sealer, so it's really thick around all of the edges. So Harry's having to painfully cut everything so we can carefully get the wing off without damaging it. One of the front wing brackets is rotted off the actual wing, so that's something we've got to do once it's off. There was something else I was going to mention there as well. Yeah, once the wing's off, we can then look at the base of the A-pillar, repair that, then that gives us something solid for the wing to mount to. So yeah, we'll get on with that. Right, back on the Porsche. Harry managed to get the wing off yesterday, which is a bit of a pig. You can see how thick the sealer is around the edges, so Harry's just scraped it off this morning. But the problem was trying to get all the sealer out from behind this brake reservoir unit, so we ended up heating it up a little bit to try and get the wing off. So it was a little bit of a battle, but it's off now, and you can see what was hiding behind a very well constructed bird's nest, bless it. And then here's the wing. On initial inspection, the back of it's not too bad. We knew it was a little bit crispy on this edge. Spray seal is great when it doesn't fail, when the moisture doesn't get behind, but all of that moisture was actually underneath that. And then yeah, this back section's obviously rotted away, and yeah, you can see a bit better from here that the profile of that's clearly wrong. So that's the bit that's going to take a bit of our attention. And then Harry's going to be working on the base of the A-pillar this morning, which is quite horrid, actually. Very, very soft. Start by removing that repair, clean it up, and then see what we've got to work with, really. Right, that's the metalwork all finished on the rear of the Land Cruiser, well, to the quarter panel at least. So we're just going to trial fit the bumper on there now, make sure the lines are all okay. Once the bumper's fit in and we're happy with that, I think there's a little mounting hole to be drilled, then that'll have a skimmer filler ready for primer and stone guard. If you look up in the back, I've been busy rust treating, but the rust does extend all the way around the fuel filler neck if you look up a little bit. But the customer's going to have that done at a separate time. Fuel neck wants to come out, fuel filler neck wants to come out really. But for now, we've rust treated everything we can get to, and that'll be stone guarded as well. Right, the Land Cruiser has been collected and gone back to the customer. He's very, very happy. If you remember the repairs on that one, we repaired the bases of the quarters on both sides. It needed a repair to the inner section. The repair then extended to behind the side moulding, so that was repaired both sides and stone guarded. We then refurbished the cross member because that was rusty, so that got rust treated, primed and stone guarded. The rear bumper was fully repaired, prepped and painted. as well as the driver's side mirror had a lump out of it, so we repaired that. Obviously, it's all gone back together. Customer's collecting it's taking it for an MOT. So, yeah, fingers crossed on that one for him. But yeah, the outcome was very, very good. You may well have noticed there's some wheels behind me. So there's a set of Fiesta ST wheels that Lee's been prepping. They've now been primed and they're ready for paint. We're just waiting on the colour to be confirmed because a few people have come up with different suggestions of what silver. I strongly suggest they're moon dust. That brings us on to John's Escort. So Laura's done all of the filler work and finished that with stopper. And that's ready for high build primer now. We're going to prime it sort of up to that swage line. If you remember on this one, we're not doing any welding because eventually the wings are going to be replaced. There was a little pinhole there. So Laura's put some fiberglass filler in that. Then that will be finished with some glaze. Once that's then primed, we can paint that with the bonnet. So the bonnet had been finished with spray filler on the outside, but it needed sealing with 2-pack primer. So it's been primed inside and out. We've then flatted this down, ready for base coat and lacquer. We've gone down to an SP finish on this. This bonnet has been very much a marathon. I've actually lost count of the hours we've spent on that. The time that goes into something like this to make it right is, yeah, kind of mind-blowing, really. In here, Harry's welded up the bonnet stay hole because that had rotted through. We'd removed all of the old sealer because it had rusted around there. This again has been rush treated, prepped, epoxy primed, as well as high build. So that one needs seam sealing in there. Yeah, these jobs are certainly a marathon and not a sprint. But yeah, the bonnet's ready. Laura's just working her magic on the wing, and then shortly we could get this into paint. We'll go through to next door and show you an update on the Corrado. So this one was coming back into the workshop for a 3-stage polish. While it was in the workshop, a little bit of the lacquer had unfortunately lifted on this corner. And despite our efforts to try and save it, the lacquer has just sheared off the whole thing. So we stripped the boot lid down, spoiler off, wiper, rubber, rear lights. Then what we did carefully on this occasion was remove the rest of the lacquer by blowing it off and scraping the reminiscence of the lacquer that we'd left behind. This saves us having to strip, potentially resulting in going back down to bare metal. Yeah, it's a lot kinder and it saves us disturbing the paint too much. The reason this has happened is because the lacquer hadn't stuck to the base coat. There's a window where you lacquer over base coat. The base coat has to be sticky for the lacquer to bond. The mechanical adhesion there obviously failed because this base coat was too dry. So yeah, we'll keep you up to date with that one. Quite often when vehicles are with us, jobs do grow, and yeah, it's in the right place, so we'll get this one sorted. Right, so Harry's been rebuilding the base of the A-post on this side. If you remember, it had a previous repair which the customer wanted us to leave, but Harry replaced the inner lip there, and he's fabricated and welded a nice section in there. I think he's then got a repair section made ready for that return that the seal joins to, and then it's going to have a piece put in there. See, that's quite thin, but yeah, that's looking nice and solid now. All spot weld along that bottom edge. Right, thanks a lot for coming along and watching our busy week here at Charlie's. Hope you've enjoyed the content and what we get up to here. Join us for more updates. Give us a like and subscribe if you like what you see, and we'll see you soon.